Hey everybody, welcome. We are going to have an awesome conversation today. Just saying. It's going to be awesome and great. I'm going to fix this braid so the part is centered. Um, Hey Marcus. I am so excited to first of all to be back. To be back doing some Jacques talks. I have a lot of new episodes coming this month, and we have some honest conversation and some feelings and some good moods and all the things. Oh, here she is. Let me just get into it right now. Get my girl. Hey.
Hi,
Hi, girl.
are you? Oh my God, I love your hair.
Ah, thank you. It needed a little break from the curls, and I was like, let me just braid it up. Just braid it
Yeah,
up and
so
just
good.
thank you. Thank you. It's just nice not to comb it for a few
Yeah.
weeks.
That makes a big difference in the morning when you wake up and you know you don't have to do that.
Just pull off my bonnet and I shake it out and I go, okay,
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
go. Because people always go, no, it's like wash and go. I'm like, oh, curls are not necessarily wash and go. They're like wash and 10 products and go. Like,
There's a path to get to the go part.
yeah, and like don't touch and it. Oh, my hair story. That's a that's a novel.
That's another topic.
It's a memoir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm in Westchester, New York.
Nice.
So I thought I had it set up so like it was like good, but
There you
here.
go. Yeah, you good.
I have, you should see my setup. I have like a tape measure
I
tied
love it.
to my laptop to hold my phone. There we go. That's what.
Ah, see, that's smart. That's smart.
Hotel room innovation.
You have to work with what you got.
Exactly. There you go.
I
I
know,
like it.
but I'm traveling. I have like things like stuck. I'm like taping things to things, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay. Or when I used to have to do Zooms in the car, and I'm like, okay,
Oh
they're not
God.
gonna know I'm in the car because I'm gonna makeshift something.
Put a screen
Well,
in the
I'm
office.
so excited that you're joining me today, and that we
I
can
know.
have a conversation about just all the things that is
There's so,
happening and has happened, and how Black Opry began, and just all the stuff. Because I'm in awe of what you're doing,
thank you.
and I feel like the time is right for it. I feel like it was like divine timing, and everything's coming together. But I know from the outside, it probably looks like it's coming together a lot smoother than how it goes, inside. But I would love to know just how you started Black Opry. Like, why, for people that don't know, like what is it and why is it necessary?
So I've been a country music fan since I was like 5 years old. I've always just like, I'm a huge like music fan in general. I always tell people
Mhm.
like music is how I understand religion.
Yes.
So, but and country music has always been the center of that. But as a black woman, that's always been considered weird, or I was told, that's strange, or like, why do you like that?
Hmm.
Um, so it's always been a very like solitary thing. And then just in 2020, after, all of the social uprising and all that kind of thing, it felt important to make sure that anything I was consuming, I was doing it in a way that felt like ethical and,
Hmm.
and things that I felt were harmful to me.
Yeah.
You start looking into, the politics, even though, to keep politics out of country music, but they don't. And when you start looking at the politics and of the people that music and, just the culture of it, you realize that, they don't want you there as a black person. It's not a space, the culture of it is not a space that is created for us to be
Hmm.
like participate in. And so, in an effort to not have to give up country music, which was something that felt so important to me, I was trying to find spaces where, I felt like I didn't feel like I was being pushed out.
Mm-hmm.
But there weren't really very many. I found when you Google Black country music, you get a list of the same few people. And on a couple of those lists, I found Reese Palmer. And
Yes.
luckily, like you said, the timing was just amazing because I found Reese like a month before she launched Color Me Country. And
See?
so like she was like talking about it and she was getting all amped up and then I was getting amped up because that was the first time I had ever seen like a black woman that was that like into country music as I was. Like I had seen
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Guyton when she came out in 2015, but they didn't really give her a lot of, there weren't,
Attention.
yeah, there wasn't the attention wasn't there, and they didn't give her the opportunities to really like tell her story and stuff like that. So Twitter is a whole different ball game than what social media was back then. So I was able to really like interact with Reese. I harassed her on Twitter, and luckily she tweets me back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's so sweet, and she's so like
Reese's the best.
she really is like she will open up and just show kindness to literally anybody that reaches out to her. So I'm very grateful that I did, and I just kind of like watched what she was doing. I paid a lot of attention. Like I found her, I found you, Andrea Williams, um, Jada Watson.
All my people.
Yeah, all the people. I literally like watched you guys, the way that you guys were working, the things that you guys were saying that were needed in the space. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of like really tried to like educate myself on what was needed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I created Black Opry, like I did it with all of that knowledge in mind, but not with the sense that I would ever have to use any of that because I kind of thought it was just going to be something like small. It really was something just like a journey of like personal healing, my own relationship with
Mm-hmm.
music. And like everybody showed up. Like
I
it
when
has
I like even just read Black Opera, like when I read, I was like, that is so smart because they don't let us up in the Opry, like in a way, like they don't, they do, but like they don't,
yeah.
like they're kind of now, but I still feel it's a little trendy. I get myself in trouble with what I say, but
I mean, they've had more black people perform there in the past year than I think since their existence.
yeah,
But we're gonna need some time to see that that's not a trend that they're chasing. Like we need to
exactly.
see like how that's gonna like settle in over time. What does that look like in terms of are they gonna market to a more diverse art audience? Are they going to make statements to let the people that come there know that they are choosing to follow a more inclusive path? Because I think
Mm-hmm.
that like a lot of these institutions don't either they don't understand or they just don't want to acknowledge is that they can't just all of a sudden say, oh, okay, well, we're going to let some black people in now, so it'll be fine. No, it doesn't work that way. They've trained their audiences to believe that these are
Yes.
is for white people only. So when we show up, in order for us to be safe and feel comfortable, they have to be told before we get there, look, things are going to look different. And if you don't want to be included in that, don't come.
Yeah, I need to see, even in like their ads for like their merch and stuff, like I need to see some more I need to see some more diversity. I
Yeah.
need to see some more age ranges. I need to see people that wouldn't be going to like a garden party. Like I just need to see a
Yeah.
lot more because I, like you said, like I love the Opry. I grew up watching the Opry with my great grandma, and I've always loved it. But when I went, I was like, oh, it's like me here in this audience, and I have like big curly hair. I'm like, this is, and that's me feeling that. And I was raised in the suburbs, so like
Yeah.
anybody that was raised at least even a slightly bit different, like so I'm like comfortable
Yeah.
around this, but I'm like I'm still aware that like there's nobody, like I can count the minorities in this room.
Reese said when she had her debut there, like she looked at the audience and she could not find anybody that looked like her in the audience. And to me, that's a disservice to anybody that you put on the stage to
Mm-hmm.
put in front of an audience where they have nobody that they can relate to. And it's not because I'm. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have told you that it's probably hard to find black people that like country music because I was told that it was hard to find black people that like country music and people looked at me like I had three heads. But since I've started Black Opry, so many people have come to me and said the exact same thing that I was feeling. So there's a ton of us out there. Like seriously, Stephanie, every day I have somebody that reaches out to me on Instagram, on email, on Twitter, whatever, and it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad to find this because I thought it was the only one. And they don't
See,
want they're just like amazed that like there's these people here. They're just like, I just had to tell you, like, this is crazy, because we were all kind of like sold the same narrative, like it was just us.
See, that's what's sad about that is it is the same narrative that even the record labels and all the people use. Like, no, but there's not money in it. And and first of all, I was like, Black folk will spend some money for some music.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will. I know them.
Yeah.
And secondly, like, you are missing out on a huge group of people that you can bring into this community. And yeah, if you're on that stage singing, you want to be able to see it. And like, let's say you want to bring your family, you want them to feel comfortable, you want your friends to feel comfortable. You don't want to have to like separate your life from what is like my life in country and my life like separated. And say for me, for a long time, I had like two different worlds because like I was like, my homegirls aren't going to come here. Like, I just know they're not going to be comfortable because I know what I have to do to fit into this space. And like, they're not going to do that because they're not making the money to like I'm doing it because I'm like, I need a paycheck, but they don't need a paycheck. So why are they going to like tone down and talk a different way and not look people in a certain way? Because people are out here crazy. No, people are out here crazy. And it's,
it really are.
And Nashville's a different, I think it's a different town than it's marketed, and it's so segregated that, like what you had said when you started, the culture of country, even though we have some more progressive artists, we have more opportunities for those artists, we have a more diverse platform, like the culture is not set up for those artists to succeed long term.
No.
Or for them to grow their fan base long term. And I see that already with the people, like I always bring up, the people that posted the Black Square, like all the artists, and then like I'm looking at what they're saying or what they're doing or what they're not saying. Like silence speaks so many volumes, and it's hard. It's hard to find a space of common people, which is why I appreciate that you were like, let's find a commonality and bring people together with a that have something in common and let them know, like, yeah, we all like country music. And how many artists there are too that just didn't know.
Ton. Like we spent like a week in Nashville for Americana Fest, and
I was so jealous.
It was eye-opening. So many ways. There's so like we went to see Wendy Moten at
I love Wendy.
If we Wendy is on, she's on this season of The Voice, so please watch and vote for her. I don't know how the shows work anymore, but if you can vote, make sure you vote for her.
You can vote, and she's she's unreal. She's the best vocalist I've ever heard. Ever.
Look at her career, like it makes no sense. She has been in Nashville singing country music for like 30 years or something. She has a project produced by Vince Gill. Like she's been on tour with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and every big name that you could think of. And if she was white, she would be a household name.
If she was white, she'd be the biggest artist there.
Like we took the people that were in the Black Opry House at the time to the show, so it was like 7 of us there. And you could tell that it was the most Black people that they had ever seen. Like we walked in and the place was packed, and they all like stopped and like turned to look at us like, what the fuck is going on? And then, like at intermission, she like came out to like say hi to us and everything. And she couldn't get to, this is the thing that blows my mind. She could not physically get to us to come and say hi because people were pulling on her to like get pictures, and they were so impressed with her. And it got to the point when she got like almost to us, they started yanking on us. People were pulling on my clothes, like, hey, are you her sister? Are you her sister? They thought all of us were related to her because that was...
Well, of course, all Black people are related.
They were like, are you her sister? Get her for a picture. And I'm like, dude, I'm not related to her. Like, and stop pulling on me, by the way. But to see that type of reaction for her, like, is so much proof that she deserves so much more than what Nashville has given her. And I really hope that now that she has a national stage, you know, she will get back some of the energy that she has put into her career. If you get on Spotify and listen to her album,
she's in like, and I say it like she's in, her vocal ability is insane. Yeah. It's insane. Like and her stage presence and like just her energy and her being
things.
Like on like I'm like, you're too good to even be on the like you're magical and you should be getting everything. And I still worry because I still don't think the culture is ready to make her the star that she should be.
I don't think so.
Because I think they would feel, and this is my opinion, I think they feel like they're unseating one of their other stars because she can outsing them and she can outperform them with just without the show, without the all the hoopla. Like just her can do better than almost anybody, and I think that makes them nervous.
I have a clip of her singing like with just her, and it's like very light instrumentation in the background. But oh my god, she's amazing. She's one of my favorite people that I've met so far through all of this because when you meet her, you can just like feel like sisterhood like coming off of her. Like she's amazing, and I met her at the for the first time at the Charlie Pride debut for the special for CMT, and she just like came up and just like gave me a hug and was like, "Hey, I'm Wendy," and I was like, why do you know who I am? This whole thing, all of this is just so very like weird to me because all these amazing people are like speak to me like I'm such a big fan. Like
but you've created a space that like even though like all of us, like I've known Mickey for a long time because her husband and my brother are friends, so I've known her, and so I don't always think I'm a huge fan of her, but I've like known her on a personal level. But so many other people, you created a space for us to come together in a non-competitive way, like the way that our culture, being Black, that allows us to do that. Like that's what we are bred to do. Like we're not bred in Black culture to be catty and like we're like, come give us a hug, like all this. And you created that space where Nashville is the opposite. So we didn't feel like we could be our authentic selves. And I speak for a few of us. I don't know everybody, but I do feel like that was a hard place. And then 2020 hit, and then we're like, okay, we're just gonna do it. And you came in like when I saw your stuff, I was like, yes, like we just needed somebody to think outside of what we were already in, because we were in.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of getting out because I started Jacques talking and knew I was going to piss some people off, but
it's so interesting to be at the intersection that I'm at because like before anything, I'm a huge music fan. So I know the way that I want to consume music. I know the things that I want to see from artists. But then on the flip side, I now have these connections with these artists. So I'm able to hear also how they want to deliver their music and tell their stories and, you know, what's comfortable for them. So I'm able to like create an atmosphere that's comfortable for them so that all the other fans, but mostly myself, I'm very selfish. Like, I'm so glad, like, as a fan, I get all of this out of you guys. But, like, as a fan, like, I get to get the best out of these artists because when you put, like, at the house, we had, you know, a house full of artists that were comfortable. They didn't have to worry about the, you know, the pretenses that they typically had to put on when you play in Nashville, especially as a Black country artist. So you put them in a space where everybody's guard is down, everybody is supportive of each other, and you know, just glad to share the room with these people. And you know, the videos that we got from there are amazing. The artists that were there, like I had been following or aware of most of them for months, and some of them, the difference and even in the quality of their voice from before they had came to the house and from after the house, there was like something that happened. There was like a confidence or something that like just brought
let them be them.
Yeah, and it's been amazing to develop.
I'll be at that house next time, don't you worry.
You will be.
I had to finish recording the singlets out, but
we got the next one.
Yes, because
make sure you come hang out.
That's my vibe. Yeah. Like, I'm always back and forth. I was like, dang it. But I figured out my recording. I was like, I'm recording during Americana week. Okay.
Recording all done?
It's all done. Yeah. And the music video is coming out later this month.
Wonderful.
And the music video is very Black, folks. And so
I love that.
I'm so excited. I have no, and the people in the industry that have seen it have gotten really behind it. And I was afraid that it was going to be too Black and too Black Lives Matter and two things. But I'm like, that's me. Like, that's who I am. I am that person. So if you don't like that, you don't like me. And you cannot agree with me and still think my music's great.
Yeah.
I mean, can't be racist and stuff, but you know, there's a little bit, yeah. But
we do a disservice to all of the work that we do if we take any steps backwards to make other people comfortable. Like, I get that a lot because a lot of the like organization, like the big country music people and all that kind of stuff, like, have reached out to me because I think they're afraid of like what I'm going to do and they're trying to figure out how to shut me up.
mm-hmm.
So they have these like very like PR, just like conversations where they try to like gently like parse out like how to get me to calm down because this is
Yes.
more like confrontation than they're used to, which to me is not really confrontation. We just have to create a space. Like, they kept us out for so long, so now we have to create a space, and we are not coming in under the guise of we're going to do it in a way that makes them comfortable, because if us coming in as ourselves like makes them uncomfortable, then that's something that they need to rethink, because it's our culture, and white people are allowed to bring any aspects of their culture into country music. We have to
And
listen
white people stole all their culture.
to cheap
They
beer,
stole.
whatever they have been wanting to do. They bring in so many different musical influences into country music, and when they do it, they make cute names for it, like country rock, or if you listen to a lot of that country music has rock influences.
Yeah.
So any reason why Black artists can't come and bring their culture and bring their gospel influences and R&B and hip hop influences, which by the way, they steal a lot of that too, but again, when
Well,
they
that's
do
where
it,
I get into like Walker
it's
Hayes, and I don't hate on Walker Hayes because he's allowed to do it. But when I listen to his song, when I listen to Fancy Like, and I go, but like a month ago, like I'm looking at Willie, and I'm going,
I
he
hate
didn't
that.
get this play. He didn't get,
God
like,
bless
I'm
Walker.
looking at how much money Walker's making, and I know people go, we don't want to talk about the money. Like, you guys, he's making a lot of money off of some blackness, and he's allowed to. But like, why can't we make that money too off of what is ours? Like, why is it not even like equal? Why does he get to do it and we don't get the opportunity to do it?
So
Like, not even the platform. Like, we don't got an Applebee's ad. What?
the story that I always like go back to is like back when Mickey Guyton first moved to Nashville in 2012. She sang background vocals on Sam Hunt's first.
Yes, she did.
And if you know anything about Sam Hunt's music, it's basically like hip hop country. Like, it's very, very, very heavily hip hop influence.
Mm-hmm.
And she was singing background vocals on that at the exact same time she was being told by the industry, don't let your music be too R&B, don't let your music be too soulful, it has to be very, very much country music or they're not going to accept it.
Yeah.
And that's such a perfect example of the way that we get treated differently. Like,
Yeah.
you can do it for somebody else, it's okay when a white man does it, but for you to be successful, we need you to contort yourself into something different. You have to stay strictly on this line and don't deviate from it.
Like, I'll tell you, I did a long time in LA, but when I moved to Nashville, when I started taking meetings in Nashville, I was told to press my hair because, like, you're pretty, you're light skinned, like, you can be ambiguous. I was told I could be ambiguous a lot. And I'm biracial. I have no problem. Like, I'm half white, folks. Like, it's what it's about. But, like, would I have ever worn my hair like this? No, because I would have felt like I would have been kicked out.
Yeah.
And I probably would have. Like, because they'd be like, what? They wanted my hair super straight, super straight. And they said, that's how you compete. I'm like, what does my hair have to do with my music? Like, what does that have to do? Like, I'm supposed to blend in. I'm like, I'm not going to blend in. I'm 5'10". Like, I'm not blending into any of this. But they said that in meetings, and they said, we want you to be ambiguous. Like, you on a radio, like, you could probably sound white. And I was like, oh.
Wait a minute.
I was like, that's not okay to say to me. Like, that's not okay. But that's the kind of feedback I was getting. So I internalized it, and I tried to start being smaller in things, like wearing my hair back, not wearing it out as much, like doing things to make people comfortable. And it didn't help me. It didn't, like, doors didn't just suddenly fly open.
Yeah, I I don't understand why they think that that is like some type of like consolation. Like you can like it'll be okay if you just make yourself a little bit more like us. Like
Yeah.
it, there's no end game to that. Like it doesn't help anybody but them, just because it just keeps everything, close.
It helps them ignore. They don't want to see the differences. They don't want to be uncomfortable. And I say this, and it's a bold statement, because most of country music and most of like the people of power, especially the men of power, don't want to change. And when you get uncomfortable, you're forced to grow and change the narrative. And they don't want to do that, even though that could make them more money. It could do a lot of things, which is what they care about, but they
Well,
just don't want it there. Like, even I look at Mickey, like, they're giving her so many flowers. I'm so happy for it. But there's still people hating. She's still not getting radio play to the level, like, if she was Carrie Underwood, like she's just as,
they invite her to places that they feel like are, non-threatening,
yeah,
but like they're still not playing her on the radio. And two, I feel like she's kind of become like the person that they look to include so they can say that they're inclusive.
yeah,
Like when they want to make sure that nobody is going to criticize them for being racist, they invite Mickey. And
like,
she,
invite Mickey. And, like, Mickey will open the door and let other people in, which I'm super, that's
yeah,
the human she is. She's like, okay, if you're going to do this, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to let all these folks in, which I appreciate.
but look at her
But I
into
also know that that makes them nervous too. They're like, wait, you're letting
yeah,
black people in.
that's what it is.
Yeah, like, it's sad. I mean, I do think it's get better than it was, but I think we're so far from where the culture is going to
Well,
shift.
that Andrea Williams talks about all the time. It's not going to be the artists that make the change. We need black people behind the scenes. We need black people doing the makeup, running the cameras, sitting in the boardrooms. Like it
Yes.
has to be like a structural change, and the only way that that's going to happen is if they have people that hold them accountable. The artists can't
I
hold them.
hope you're getting ready to be in some boardrooms, girl.
Look, I knock down everybody's door I can. I've met with the C. I've met with that's the only one I can say publicly, but I met with a lot of these people, and I don't I don't know what'll happen with the CMAs. I don't know if they will make any like meaningful change, but I can tell you now that they know,
Yeah.
you know. So
Mm-hmm.
to step closer to holding them accountable is they can't say they don't know anymore, because
Yeah.
we to them that you know this is something that needs to change from behind the doors to on the stage. So hopefully that will be something that they take in and do something with. But we're gonna.
Well, I look at it like, hopefully, like, let's say the CMA awards that are coming up, and Mickey's bringing Brittany Spencer, Madeline Edwards along on the stage, which
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that magic. But, like, when they see the numbers, like, that's going to bring in a different demographic of viewership, and that's like, it's not going to hurt them to be more inclusive and more equitable,
It
but
will.
to keep doing that and to keep thinking, kind of like what the Grammy Awards had to do. Like, the Grammy Awards got like a little more black this year, and I was like, well, it was actually a good show and had a better viewership, and they put people in power that weren't all white, because you need diversity amongst your team. Like, if you're all the same person making the decision, that's not really a team. That's like if you're all like 60-year-old white men making decisions.
A new because the CMAs did a really, really shitty job with the Morgan Wallen situation. Like they didn't really address it. They didn't. I told them this too when I
Yeah,
talked, but because they were like, "Well,
somebody
what
had
do
to.
we do to make Black people feel comfortable?" Because I was like, if you want more Black people to show up, you got to make us feel safe. And you parading around Morgan Wallen is not going to do that. So
No.
they, what can we do? I was like, well, you need to admit that you made a mistake there. Like that's where it has to start, with acknowledging the fact that you guys have fucked up, and not just this year, but an entire
Consistently.
of your existence, you have catered to white people. So I don't think that putting Brittany and Mickey on the stage will bring a more diverse viewership, because they haven't marketed a more diverse audience. Like,
True. They haven't.
I think that the majority of the people that support Mickey and Brittany are white people. I think we have a very different view of it because we kind of banded together now. So we are always around other Black folks that support them.
Mm-hmm.
But music still as an entity is still marketed mostly to white people. So
Yeah,
black people don't know that Brittany Spencer has played the Opry twice. They don't know that Mickey Guyton has like sang on
they
every
don't.
PBS
Like my
ad.
folks from Howard, they do text, like whenever there's a show or something and they like a song that's country, they'll text me, can I like this person? What has this
Good.
person done? Like, is this and I'm like, who that person? No, no, can't like that. Oh, you can like this one. No, can't like that one. But they text because they don't listen
Yeah.
to country. They don't listen to country because not because they don't like it. They
It
just don't like, they listen to my stuff. They listen to like stuff I send them, but they don't like, they would come to my show. They come to my show. Kinda.
like I said,
Depends on the city. If it's DC, they
oh,
come to my show.
we have to let black people know that, you know, liking country music is okay, but
Yeah.
in order to do that, we have to make it okay and make it safe.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the purpose behind Block Opera too, is a safe space for us to enjoy it. Because
Mhm.
as it stands right now, I cannot in good conscience tell a black person, yes, country music is great, come on in. Even like, I mean, like a fan, like I can't tell
Yeah.
them come on in and hang out, because every experience that I've had so far in mainstream country spaces has not been pleasant. Like
Yeah.
I've had fun, but you know, there was always somebody looking at me sideways, or you know, I was the only one there. And I haven't done very much, but every time I've gone, that's the experience that I've had. So
Yeah.
in order for us to be able to bring people in, we have to just keep hounding these people to make these spaces safer, and
Hmm.
then begin the process of marketing to a more diverse audience. And at
Hmm.
that graphic will change. But I think that that's like an uphill battle though, because they kind of train their audiences to be, you
Yeah.
know, a very white conservative crowd. So if you begin to change that, initially you're going to lose some of that audience as it takes time for a more diverse audience to come in. So to convince people, you know, that are making all this money to, you know, take a hit for a little bit until they can build up a better audience. I don't know if we can convince them to do
I
that.
agree.
I just
I
started
think
doing my, I'm like,
I
y'all,
think that's what had happened with, I think, and that's my opinion of the Morgan Wallen thing. I think they realized the money in that and they chose to not lose the money over the integrity. And they're like,
yeah.
was it that bad? I'm like, that's bad. Like what he did was bad. Like, I'm not saying that he's a bad human. I'm not on like a one-on-one, like I don't hang out with Morgan, nor would I. But I'm like, if somebody's willing to say that, like that's in them. And also the culture is allowing him to say it, which just tells you like, I don't want to, it's hard to be in a culture that allows somebody to say that because they're making money for you.
Exactly.
Like you're allowing somebody to be like you're not thinking what is best as a whole, like what is best for the humans. They're like, oh, we're making money. So he's making money. It's fine. Like,
And
did
then
anybody get hurt? Like, I'm like, yeah, a lot of people get hurt by words and by actions and by feelings. And like, I think the aftermath of it was worse than what he even said. Like, in some ways, because I'm like, it just showed how many people don't disagree with it.
exactly, like that was the problem. Like when you are making it seem like it's okay to say that, like what are you signaling to the people that come in whatever space you
Mm-hmm.
have? And it's gotten to the point now, like I don't really think it has very much to do with Morgan Wallen.
No.
It really did upset me though, because I had been inside. I've been locked in the house for like 9 months. I live with somebody that has lung disease, so I couldn't leave because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was literally locked inside. And I had gotten to a point where I didn't even want to listen to music because it just reminded
Mm-hmm.
me of the house. So I was like sitting in silence for a few months, and then I found his album and I loved it. It was the only thing I listened to for like a good 3 or 4 months, and then all of a sudden he did that, and it felt like, just because of like the weight of the way that I found that album, it felt like a personal attack. Like it was like, okay, this is the one thing that has kind of like brought me out of this dark space, and you don't have the decency as a human being to just not say the one most racist word you can say. You know what I mean? Like
And to not
that's
apologize after,
not to
and
say.
nobody held him accountable. I'm like, it just, like, what I don't, like I said, like, I think he's a product of the culture.
Yeah,
Like so many people are. He just gets caught because he's messy. He's just
yeah,
messy. Um, and his team allows him to be messy, which is a whole nother thing. I'm like, just don't be like, you're just
yeah.
messy. Like, I know a lot of people that say it and talk and do that, and I don't agree with them either. They don't get caught because they understand their brand. But then you have this happen, and it didn't hurt his brand. It
No.
helped his brand. And I'm like, I was like, that didn't cause a dent. Like that
And they're telling us,
helped it.
oh, why do you want his career gone? His career is not going anywhere. We're not, nobody is, I honestly, I really don't care what happens with his career. What I'm saying, people that use that word need to be held accountable. He has not been held accountable. Everything, whatever little sorry note he wrote on a napkin in Wendy's or whatever he did on over the summer, that said he wasn't going to play music anymore, and then he shows up and plays music. Like everything that he said that he was
He
going
plays
to
music with like Kid Rock and people that are just horrible.
So it's like he didn't even hold himself to his own standards of what he said accountability was going to look like. So it's like, how do you take seriously that he even like he clearly he doesn't care. He's not
He doesn't
apologizing.
care, and nobody. And what hurts more is like he doesn't care. He's an artist. He's a writer. Whatever. None of the people above him care. And I'm like, those are the people that change the culture, that change everything, that have the power. And let me tell you, what is sad is that also there is some Black women on his team and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
I know some of them. One of them totally stands with us and just like, but you know, COVID, you got a job. I understand. But like,
I
if
don't
you're
know.
like, yeah, this is COVID, like,
I
I'm
feel
like, you guys have to, and that personally, I'll put it this way. It's not, if a Black woman or man works at a label and something like that happens, right? I'm going to need all the white people that are around them to stand up so that the one Black person doesn't have to go, oh, that's racist. Like,
well no
everybody should know what is racist, what's okay, and be like, you know what? It's about, we've made a decision, 2020, we all put our squares up, we all had this conversation, we're letting some people in the door, we're not standing for this anymore, we're going to lose some fans, but you know what, you're not going to lose the fans because they like the music and they like drinking their beers and they like all the stuff that they like the fans might go away for a moment, but they always come back. Like, they're going to come back, but you have to also allow fans to have to rise up and be respectful. Like, you have to be like, oh, that's not tolerated. So then when they go to that show and there are minorities in the audience, they don't think it's okay to speak to them in a way or do some dirt to people in the audience that aren't even part of the show. Like, if you allow that culture on stage, that culture is going to breed out. Like, it's just an example. And I'm like,
yeah, like,
that's more what I was saying. But everybody did think like, oh, you just hate Morgan. I'm like, no.
doesn't mean
It's a small example of like the whole system that we're saying is jacked up.
it's just like the whole thing as far as like attracting fans, like country music is based off of money, and if you spend 5 minutes on the internet you can see that there are enough people in this world that you can find fans for literally anything. There are people that sit on YouTube and eat and millions of people watch it.
Yes.
So country music has the money to get
People
what
watch people popping pimples. Like, seriously.
it, like the fan thing to me is it's a cop out and it's an excuse for them to behave whatever way they want to behave because they're going to ultimately say, oh well, we have to be careful because of the fans, to they use that to hide behind whatever decisions they choose to make because it's driven by the fans, it's driven by the money, and they already have the money and they can keep that cycle of money going. So it's fans don't have anything to do with it. Like, that's something that I'm sure is
Yeah.
just kind of a smokescreen so they can behave you and not be held accountable.
Yes. Ugh. Girl, I could talk to you for like 5 hours. We're gonna need to talk more.
I
We
know.
need to have like we just need to talk more. We just need to talk more.
Where are
That's
you?
that's what this conversation is telling me.
Yes.
You and I.
Where are you now?
Right now I'm in the Bay. Like, it's funny because Reese is like in Napa, like 20 minutes away from me. I'm like, girl, you're so close. I'm gonna come
Oh,
kidnap you. But yeah, I'm in the Bay, and then I'll be back in Nashville, and then back in the Bay, and then LA. I'm just all over the place. But I'm releasing in a couple weeks. We're getting the date. The music video is coming, and I'm gonna send you a preview of it because it's you guys, it's so Black, and I say that not like like Black is so beautiful to me, and like braids and just color and like protests, all that stuff is so beautiful to me. So for it to be getting the help it is to get out there, I'm like so happy that they're accepting it, because I did not put one white person in that video.
Good.
And not because I don't like it, because my family's white, but there's not one. Not a
Yeah.
one. I was like, I made an intentional thing, like, no. And I shot the video myself, because I was like, I want to have full control over it. I want to know what this is going to look like. I don't want to give it to anybody. And
that's amazing.
It tells you something. You can learn some stuff on YouTube. Let me tell you, YouTube is a wonder.
Yes, it is. It has made a lot of stuff happen.
Yeah, it is magical.
So out there, Miko in a show with Ron Pope in the Bay.
Yeah.
So you have to come with me. I think it's in like April.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Miko lives out here.
I know. But I was like, okay, that's good, because I can get out there and see both of y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's out here. Like, she's like 15 minutes from me, and yeah, we gotta like. I'm always here. Like I'm from the Bay. I'm from NorCal, so that's where my dad and siblings are. And then I moved to LA. I've been all over. I'm older than I look. I always go beige, don't age. They say black don't crack. I'm like, beige don't age.
There you go. That works.
And a good filter. It all works. I believe in them. So, well, I hope that you will do like another episode of this with me, but we'll talk in between it. So, like, we're gonna have some combo, but like come back, because I think this is a conversation that we can just keep. It's just gonna keep going, and I think the reason I started Jacques Talk is I believe conversations are the way to start changing things. I believe when people realize that it's not scary, it's just different.
Yeah.
And how similar we are at our core, that we can start, at least with the outskirts, we can start finding the people that have empathy and want equity and want that, and it starts building. So that was the whole reason to like start, just also because I just love to talk. But I do. I'm a talker.
Well, we'll definitely do it again soon.
Yes, I appreciate what you're doing. I am so impressed by you, but also I'm just thankful. Like, I am very thankful that you're doing what you're doing with Black Opry. I'm very thankful that
Thank you so much.
Messaged Reese. I'm just very thankful for all of it. Like, it's beautiful, and I appreciate it.
To go so long and like not know anybody that looked like me that, you know, did any of this. Love you, Roberta. And then there's all of these amazing Black women, not only, I mean, making the music, but, you know, like Reese is like hosted on CMT and has an Apple radio show. And then you're like, amazing activism work behind the scenes. Like, there's so like everybody has all of different multidimensional approaches to everything, and I just think
it's beautiful. And I think the more we are just open and honest, and I like that you just say it how it is, and that's how I am. Like, I don't really have a filter, and I just say that's what I feel, you know. And you don't have to pretend. You don't have to remember what you were saying. You can be like, I said that. Yeah. I'm like, that's how I feel, folks. Go scroll back on my page. You'll know. So I'll save this so people that came in late, and we'll get another one scheduled. But we're like, I'm gonna message you now my phone number so that like we could just talk more in general.
Okay, perfect.
All right, I love you guys so much, and thank you everybody for like the awesome conversation in the chat. Like, this is like the goodness. It's the goodness.
I know. Hi, Tanner.
Hi. Oh my gosh. All you good. You guys are just all. You guys really make me happy.
But if anybody like talks to Jada, she just got the cutest dog. You have to ask her for a picture of it.
Yes.
I'm in love with her dog. That's all I've been thinking about. I've been looking for toys on her dog. I was supposed to be at work today.
I love you.
Toys. People were like, I'm having a drink, and I'm like, hold on, I'm busy.
Like, I got stuff to do. There's a dog. I love it. See, I feel your good energy. You're just goodness. We're gonna hang. We're gonna hang. Hi, do you? Oh my gosh, all my favorite people on here.
I know.
It's just it's woken me up. It's just beautiful.
Well, I love you guys. I'm gonna send me a picture of that dog, girl. And we will talk soon. Thank you, everybody, for
Good.
a good Wednesday convo.
Of course. Bye, guys.
Bye. Love you guys.